Hey collectors, Jim here with another figure review, and today I'm excited to be taking a look at the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Wolverine figure. Now, this is my very first Revoltech figure ever, but I mean when I saw this Wolverine I just had to have it. It really does look like a really nice piece. But the box, you got a big open window, you can basically see everything you get behind the packaging. You do have an image of the figure here, amazing Yamaguchi, Wolverine, X-Men, and Marvel. A lot of comic art going all the way around this box. Top of the box, again, you get the company, Wolverine. Side of the box, you get some more images. This side of the box, you get another image of the figure. On the back of the box, you just have tons and tons of different, poses you can get the figure into and everything like that, along with the parts. On the bottom of the box you have a little X-Men picture there along with a bunch of unreadables. But that is the box. Let's crack Wolverine open and take... Okay, and here he is all out of the packaging along with his accessories. Now you do get an insert which has some pretty cool art on it. Really nice artwork all over that. So that is one thing that is included. You do have your normal Revoltech stand, which is the base. You do have the arm. You have the extender piece that does hinge at the top, middle, and bottom. You have your other little clamp piece that you can put on there with the clamp, and it does have like a little bit of a back brace on there. And then you do have some extra Revoltech joints. Now as far as the accessories, he does come with the slash effect, which you can port into the back of, I guess, any figure that has a port big enough to fit this to kind of make it look like he is slashed through somebody. Of course, you do get the pair of claws, which look great. I really love the over-exaggerated, length, but really nice sculpt, nice paint, and they are soft. Great width in between. They just look fantastic. And I do like how they have this system that you can port into different hands. You do get a pair of, kind of open style pose hands. That's what I was talking about. You can actually port these claws in to the hand, so you can have them in either the fist hand or the open hands. So that's really cool, and just kind of carefully port them back out. So you do get those two pairs of hands. You get the pair of fist hands that come on the figure, and again you can port this piece out. So you can port the, retracted claws in this hand or the open hand. So that's really cool. And then you have three other sets of hands that do not have that feature. It just has the, retracted claws. But you do have his cigar holding hand, which he, does not come with anymore because they pulled the cigar. And then you kind of have two other, or no, this was his cigar holding hand. Yeah, so that was his cigar holding hand. And then you have two other kind of like trigger finger holding hands that he does come with. And have you guys spotted it yet? I'll give you a second. Yes, my figure came with two of the grinning heads instead of the yelling head. Very irritated. I've already contacted the seller because I did buy this off eBay, so they're going to get in touch with amazing Yamaguchi and get me a yelling head. So I have to send one of these back. But yeah, very disappointed that I'm not getting the yelling head. I mean, that was the key, not the key reason, but I mean, you got to have your yelling head with your Wolverine, But so unfortunately, I got two sets of these heads. But taking a closer look at these heads, they look alright. The skin tone is a little bit on the yellow, I mean not the yellow, but the orange side. But I mean the sculpt looks good. The paint for the most part, whoops, just dropped it. The paint for the most part is clean, but there are some problems in the paint, which you don't really, for the price point you wouldn't really expect. But let's take a closer look at Wolverine. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, I mean, Revoltech is basically a love or hate. You either love it or you hate it. I'm kind of in between, I don't own any other Revoltech figures, but when I saw this Wolverine, I just had to have it. It just looks really good. But this is the neutral face that does come on him. And I mean, it's done alright. The paint is a little bit kind of, iffy. there is like some bleeding going on, but I do like the colors that they chose. I'm not a fan of this big, huge, you know, gap we have here in the neck. I don't really like that. There is a lot of kind of like sharp edges all around the figure that do kind of line up for the most part, but you know, make it look a little bit weird. But again, I mean, you are going to lose some of the aesthetic with this figure just because of the poses you're going to be able to get them into, you know. So, but that's the whole Revoltech thing. I mean, that's what they do. It's about posing them. But nice sculpt all throughout. We get nice sculpted veins all in the arms. We do get some shading within the arms, so that looks pretty good. I like the metallic blue all throughout the costume, and the shoulder pads look really good. And we get sculpting again on this side, which follows all the way down into the hands even with the veins. Nice muscle definition all over. This part is a completely, you know, separate floating piece along with the belt. But nice sculpt coming all down here. We got a little bit of what looks like shading on his knees almost. But the boots look good. Come here at this side of the figure. Again, I mean, it's very stylized looking, but I mean, I like it. I think it looks great. In the back of the figure. And then coming up this side of the figure. So I mean, overall, yeah, standing in a vanilla pose, he looks a little bit weird, even though it doesn't look that bad, really. You know, just in a standard kind of like vanilla pose like this, it doesn't look horribly bad. But let's get let me talk the articulation, and then I'll put the claws on. Now, as far as articulation with these Revoltech figures, all of the joints are either these double balls, which have a swivel in them, or a single ball. So it's basically just a, you know, two pegs with a ball joint that can swivel, and that's how you get the crazy range you get with these. But you can basically get the head to look all the way up. You get the head to look all the way down. The neck also, you know, has a hinge. The hinge doesn't really go too far, but I mean, you know, you can get straight up and you can get straight down. I don't think the neck is supposed to rotate, and you don't really get any side to side. But I mean, you can kind of, you know, of course you get full swivel, and you can kind of tilt it side to side a little bit. For the shoulders, we have, you know, the Revoltech joint, so you can pretty much get it straight up. And the shoulder pad does kind of, you know, move. You can kind of move this around to hide it a little bit. So I do like that. That's really cool how they, you know, pegged it in there and gave it a little bit of movement. But I mean, you do have a Revoltech joint, so you can get the arms straight up. Of course, you know, you can bring it all the way across the front. You can bring it all the way back. Just crazy, crazy range with this thing. So that's, you know, a lot of movement. You can also shift it, you know, so you can shift it in, shift it out. Of course, you don't really have too much of a rotation on that. You do have the Revoltech joint there at the elbow, so the elbow will come all the way in. It does have a big gap here again, but I mean, you're going to have to kind of get them in the pose and then kind of try to hide the joints. You do have swivel right there as well. Of course, the hands on that same kind of, you know, Revoltech joint, so it'll hinge up and down, left and right, give you full swivel. You do have rotation on the top portion, along with crunch, and you can crunch them all the way over. That's like a ratchet joint, and it does tend to want to pop off if you crank on it too much. But you can only get about that much back, so not really too much back, but you get nice forward movement. You do have full swivel and, you know, side to side, so you get nice movement. The legs will kick up pretty much about this much, kick back about that much. You do have this cut right here, so you can kind of rotate, but it does break the sculpt and make it look a little bit weird, but you can rotate that all the way around. The knee, you basically just have like a single bend, but it brings it all the way back. You do have rotation at the boot. You do have a ball hinge to bring the foot all the way back, all the way forward. You do get swivel out of that, along with a little bit of pivot, and you do have your toe hinge. And it's kind of like you kind of got to always fight with this guy to get him back. Oh, and these shoulder pieces here, they do rotate down. So you can kind of just rotate the shoulder down to give you more, you know, movement. Which that one was kind of stuck. Let me there it goes. I guess because of the paint. But that just gives him a little bit more movement, you know, so you can kind of bring him hunched over. That's great. So yeah, it is a learning curve for, you know, people like me who have never really messed with these Revoltech figures before. But I mean, you can get some really, really nice poses with this guy. So that's really, really cool. So crazy articulation with this guy. Now, as far as the claws, let's pop the claws on him. And again, the claws just, you know, make the figure look so good. Yeah, I know they're a little bit exaggerated. Man, it's kind of hard to get these. I guess the more you do it, though. And I keep popping him off. But as you see, the belt is basically just a floating piece, or you know, its own little separate piece. Then you have the big old Revoltech joint there in the middle. Put this back on like so, and just line that up and clip that down. So I mean, with his claws on, yeah, I mean, he looks great. Shift those arms forward. It's definitely got to mess around with it, that's for sure. You guys sitting here watching me struggle trying to get this thing in a pose. What happened to it? Why is this arm not working now? Yeah, it definitely takes some getting used to, that's for sure. But as you can see, you can, you know, really hunch him over really far. But yeah, guys, that is the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Wolverine figure. It definitely, like I said, I mean, for it being my first Revoltech figure, I'm alright with it just because I do like the kind of exaggerated style that, you know, they captured with this figure. I do like the Tiger Strike Wolverine as well. Now, as far as his height, the top of his ears are pretty much a little over 5.5 inches tall to the very top of his ears. And as far as some comparison, here is the Legends Colossus and the Legends Cyclops. So that just gives you a little bit of size comparison. So you could pretty much fudge this guy into your, you know, Marvel Legends collection. And I'm sure he's also in scale with the other, you know, Revoltech figures. But, you know, it just gives you a little comparison as far as what he will look like on the shelf. But yeah, guys, that is the review. Thank you for watching. That's the amazing Yamaguchi Revoltech Wolverine figure. I mean, this guy is just amazing what you're able to get him into. And I'm not like the best. I'm still learning here, trying to figure out these joints and everything. But I mean, you can really get him into some crazy poses. I am kind of pissed off that I don't have my yelling face, but you know, I will get that face eventually. So that's cool. But that's the review, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next figure review. Take care.